Hey, what's going on? How y'all doing out there? This is your Uncle Steve, and you're in Uncle Steve's Lounge on a Monday. So this is the Monday Minutia, and we're here to talk about, guess what? The Atlanta Falcons as we fall to 8-8 and pretty much giving up a probably a good chance of making the playoffs. Yes, there's a slim possibility. We'll talk about that a little later on, but let's talk about the art of calling time out. It sounds crazy, but based on last night, seems like we might need to have a class. Come join us on the other side.
You're in Uncle Steve's Lounge. You're in Uncle Steve's Lounge. Gonna sit down, have a good time. You're in Uncle Steve's Lounge. You're in Uncle Steve's Lounge. Gonna sit down, have a good time. You're in Uncle Steve's Lounge. You're in Uncle Steve's Lounge. Gonna sit down, have a good time. You're in Uncle Steve's Lounge. You're in Uncle Steve's Lounge. Gonna sit down, have a good time. You're in Uncle Steve's Lounge. You're in Uncle Steve's Lounge. Gonna sit down, have a good time. You're in Uncle Steve's Lounge. You're in Uncle Steve's Lounge. Gonna sit down, have a good time.
Hey, what is going on? How's everybody doing on the second to last day of 2024? We have made it. We made it to the end of the year. Hopefully, you and your family had a great holiday this past week. Hope everything is going well for you. Everything's going well here in Uncle Steve's Lounge. I am your host and humbled host, Uncle Steve, and I'm glad to join you today on the Monday Minutia of this show. And guess what we're going to talk about today? We're going to talk about the Atlanta Hawks. No, even though they need to be talked about, the Atlanta Hawks are on a mini roll for them, at least for the last few weeks, as they won their third straight, I think, last night against Toronto. So good stuff from them. Here in Uncle Steve's Lounge, we're going to talk about that what was last night, Atlanta on the road in Landover, Maryland, against the Washington Commanders, one of the upstart teams, one of the teams that we're probably going to, if we're going to be serious about football in January and February, one of those teams that we're going to probably see again in the next coming year. So we better start learning how to beat them. Last night didn't work out too well. Lost in overtime, 30-24. And I know what everyone's going to talk about. We're going to get to all of that in a second. It's the title of my stream today, so I know we're going to get on it. But first, as you come in, if you don't mind, go ahead and hit that like button for me. And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to the channel. We appreciate the interaction. We know it's winding up on the football season, but we're here all year. We'll come in pretty much on a once a week just to talk about everything that's going on. Also, today's bonus, as we usually do on the Minutia, we mix a little bit of entertainment into things. What is your number one song of 2024? What is your number one song of the year? You could actually put an album in there if you want to if you can't single out to one song. But what is your top song of 2024? it was kind of interesting. I know earlier in the year, if you had asked me maybe the first half of the year, I was a huge fan of the Usher, uh, her song "Risk It All." That kind of got me through the first part of the year, and then by the middle of the year, it's kind of a toss up between "Million Dollar Baby" from Tommy Richmond and "Not Like Us" from Kendrick Lamar, which kind of punched everybody in the end with the with the little battle between him and Mr. Drizzy. But yeah, what's your number one song for 2024? We're going to talk about that, and we're going to talk about the Falcons. And I'm not going to waste a lot of time on my opening segment, but I do want to just put out there that look, one of the reasons why I love doing the Monday Minutia, quite honestly, because the majority of games are on Sunday, I like to take a step back because during those 3+ hours of the game, I realize whether I'm there or whether I'm watching on TV like I was last night, it's so easy to get caught up in the emotion of what's going on in the moment. And in the moment, you want to fire everybody, you want to criticize every play, you want to just over talk points that might not even be as relevant as you think. But in the moment, in your anger, in your vitriol, you are just wanting to, let it out and let somebody know that how much this bothers you. It bothered me, the time management. Uh, Glad Raheem did take some responsibility for that in his press conference last night, to say that in hindsight. But again, we all say it from the couch, from the stands, from the cheap seats, what we would have done. And I'm not defending the decision. The decisions were horrible. You should have called a timeout and given the young quarterback a little bit more time. And I think that's the point that I make to folks that I've been going back and forth with on all platforms of social media. Because you had the unique situation where you had your rookie quarterback making his first start on the road in a playoff type atmosphere. In that moment, which I am going to say this, Darnell Mooney has got to try to get out of bounds a little better than he did. But again, we can nitpick other things too. But as a coach, I've got to look out for my quarterback. And in that moment, I just felt like Raheem, I get what he's saying. You thought you could have run up and do that. But I'm like, bruh, this isn't a flex spending account. You can't, roll over the timeouts into next game or next year. Dude, spend the timeout. So what? You got one left. Spend the timeout and let's keep it moving. But he didn't. And we all know what happened. I have no ill will towards Riley Patterson. I posted the question up to everyone else who all thought the game was over. I promise you, when I saw that ball go up and get kicked in the air, and I saw that thing splitting straight down the middle, I jumped off the couch. I gave my wife a high five. Shout out to Aunt Kira. I gave my son a high five. Tyler's in the room. We're going crazy. And then I kind of look at the corner of my eye and I was like, why is that score not changing? And I see the referee doing no good. And I was like, whoo. But I'm not mad at Riley Patterson. That's a 56-yard field goal. And I know some kickers are making that, but guess what? Ours didn't. So I don't blame that on him. Folks, we played one of the, even as a rookie, I think one of the top 5 players in the league this year. Jaden Daniels is going to be a problem. If you really look at the game yesterday, and yeah, I know people go, Zacchaeus, we had him in Atlanta. Zacchaeus was he was a product of Terry McLaurin being shut down by AJ Terrell. So OZ had a big game. Shout out to OZ. Robinson didn't do anything. And as sure as that score was 17-7, I said to myself in the second half, and I said to my son and anybody else who wants to listen, that Jaden Daniels is going to have the ball in his hands 70% of the time in the second half. And guess what? Guess what? He did. Yeah, Zach Ertz killed us with some quality catches. He did. But Jaden Daniels is, dude, we didn't beat a scrub quarterback. Sometimes if you have a special quarterback, sometimes that's all it needs. So there are some teams you need a little bit more. But that dude is, whew, he is something else. But I want to hear what everybody else says. I know it's a lot of people in here already. I appreciate y'all joining me here on Uncle Steve's Lounge. I'm going to start it right up. I'm going to try my best to run through as many as I can. I thank everybody for joining me here in the lounge. Please put the chats in there. We're going to try to get as many thoughts as we can. Starting us off, my brother Rusty Moore is in the house. What's up, Rusty? How you doing, sir? He said, I've seen better clock management from 9-year-olds playing Madden. Raheem's been coaching football at some level for 24 years. If he doesn't know how to utilize the clock by now, we are doomed. Yeah, I again, folks, the mere fact that he acknowledged it, I don't know what else we want to say. I mean, I really don't. I'm not making an excuse for him. I'm just saying I just don't know what else we want to say. He said he might have screwed that up. And he did. JND Truck, what's going on, brother? I haven't seen you in a while. How you doing, man? Happy holidays, Raw coach to lose and not to win. That scares me going forward. Also, we can teach wrapping up during a tackle instead of throwing shoulders, shake my head. Yeah, I think at the end, especially, now thank goodness we stopped them on that. Look, you can say what you want about the defense. The defense, yeah, we had some interesting moments at the end and stuff. We do need to tackle better, much, much better. But I will say this. They don't stop them on that third down conversion. We don't have a chance to go to overtime. I think the defense has played a lot better, probably sans that second half at Minnesota. Dude, you knew what was going to happen the second half. Jaden Daniels is going to get the ball, and Jaden. I don't think it's any mistaken. Cousin James in the house. What's going on, James? He said, cousin, it's tough living in the DC. Oh, I can imagine. I know they having their day today. And good luck, and good for them. Good for them. Washington is in the same boat as us. I'm not trying to say they will be giving us the same love that I'd give them. Congratulations. But you know what? They made it. They made the playoffs. Congratulations to them. This is my brother Ricky in the house. What's going on, Rick? How you doing, brother? He said time management was abysmal, to say the least. Cost us the game. Absolutely, it did. Star student in the house. Coach's Corner. That's my brother Dre's in here. What's up, Dre? How you doing, sir? He said, I've said it before 1,000 times, and now maybe people will stop telling me to chill now that they see that. But Raw is not a good coach, nor his staff. You run the ball and you don't put it on your rookie. Here's the problem. You're right. Go with what got you there and in the first half. But when you went 3 and out, I think Washington just said, let's play keep away. Look, Brian Robinson is a nice, okay running back. I think I'll take Tyler Algier over him, in my opinion. But he wasn't doing the things that Jaden was doing. If you look, coach, the ball stayed in Jaden's hands the second half. That's what it should have done. It should have stayed in his hands. I mean, yeah, it's easy to say go run the ball, but they said the second half, no, Bijan ain't gonna get nothing in the second half, and he basically did. And give them credit for making adjustments. Demetrius in the house. What's up, Demetrius? How you doing, brother? And my man Jamal D in the house as well. Coach says exactly what I mean by not putting your players in the best position to win when you come out after half and run, not throw, and then get watched the entire third quarter. Yep, I agree with you. I agree. Demetrius says last night loss was heartbreaking. It was a heartbreaking loss because you saw elements of what could have been earlier this year if you had possibly made that change, and nobody knew. Because I'm telling y'all, we can sit here and pretend that when the Falcons were 6-3, that we weren't had our chest open, talking stuff about playoffs and stuff. We all were. I don't want to hear all of the, after it's done, now you're going to say, see, I told y'all we weren't going to do. I told y'all. No, y'all were all on board. Everybody was on board. Stop that. I got the thing.
Stop the cap.
Is that, y'all got to chill with that. Everybody all of a sudden, we experts now that we lost the game. Stop. We were believing it just like everybody. Kirk Cousins, not only comeback player of the year, maybe even MVP at that time. And we made the move too late. Justin Swisher, what's going on, Justin? He said, what's up, Uncle Steve? Raheem still in turn. Raheem deserves everything he getting today, by the way. There's no excuse making for him. He deserves everything he's getting. If you ask me to a person, no, it's not a fireable. It's an offense. Folks, we are 8-8. At the beginning of the year, a lot of people 10. I said 10 wins. A lot of people say 11. I get it. We're probably going to end the year 9-8. I'm not trying to say that's acceptable, especially when you don't make the playoffs after the start that we had. But let's not try to pretend we were Kansas City at the beginning of the season. Let's not act like we were gonna, blow the doors off of the NFC. We can pretend that. But I also want everybody to look at this schedule that the Falcons ended up having. The Falcons ended up we have one loss to a losing team this year. Yes, you got to beat good teams, which we did in Philly and Tampa twice. We did with those. But you got to beat good teams. And that's your problem. We lost to one losing team this year, and when it's all said and done, it's not going to be a timeout against Washington. It's not going to be 4 interceptions against the Chargers. It's not going to be a horrible start in Pittsburgh. It's not going to be a 4th down call against Kansas City. We're going to go back and circle that New Orleans game when we were high as a kite, 6-3, going into New Orleans, who had just fired their coach. Things were all down for them. They were 2-7 at the time. We're going to go back and look at that game and say to myself, and circle it, because that's the game that pretty much started the bad stuff. Not saying Kirk Cousins wasn't a part. Not saying Raheem time management isn't the part. Not saying lack of sacks in the first 8 games is not the part. What I'm saying is that's going to be a mark right there at the part of the season where you say, uh-oh, because that's when things went down. And ever since that game, we have struggled mightily. Millie Mills says, I figured it out. He wanted Washington to win so McVay could get it. The NFL going to have Tampa lose next week and the Aints, and we going to beat Carolina. The script is real. I don't know, man. I'm just... Well, for those of you who do think that there is a chance with the Falcons winning this game against New Orleans, I came across an old record from a few years ago that sums that up too when we talk about it. That's I just uh-oh. You know what? I think I took the song off. How about that? What an idiot. That was smart. Ricky says everyone is talking about it, as they should. It should. That was a great game. If you weren't the Falcons or the Commanders, that was a great game. It really was. I loved it. That was a great game. Melvin, what's going on, Melvin? How you doing, sir? He said, what's good, Uncle Steve? Tough loss. Anyway, we played real bad. Go Cowboys. Yeah, man. Yeah, look, y'all were the last significant win we had, to be honest with you. The Cowboys win. That was the last big-time win we had. Demetrius says for Raheem to put the blame on the players instead of taking about accountability. It's like, he took accountability last night. He said in hindsight he would have made another play. Let me tell you something. Look, there are one or two plays, 2 or 3 plays every game that you can say stop the momentum. I even posted yesterday. The D'Angelo Malone kind of phantom pick. I know you can't hit anybody down the field, but that was such a kind of call. You can go back to that. I think that was the momentum. They were, second and 20, third and 20, and they called that little bit, and that's all the momentum they would. Who knows what would have happened if we would have got the ball back on that? Lot of what ifs. Dirty Bird 67 in the house. What's going on, Dirty Bird? Is it gold afternoon? Well, I come to the fact that we are who we are until proven differently. I think that's kind of just a fact of the matter. I don't think it's brain surgery. We're not that team yet. Do we see flashes? I love what I've seen from the pressure that the Falcons defense has been doing lately. If you haven't seen that, that's one thing. I know we didn't tackle well yesterday. I know they got a couple of plays, and I know Jaden escaped the pocket a few times, but everybody doesn't have a Jaden Daniels. But I will say this. I do like the direction, and this is it's a younger team more than it is an older team. And we'll talk about the end of the year at the end of the year next week. But I like the direction. And if you don't like what you see out of the quarterback, wait until he finally gets a summer where he can be with them, where he can learn their tendencies, when they can talk about things they like and stuff like that. All the things we kept hearing Kirk Cousins talking about at the beginning of the year when he actually had zip in his passes those first 4 or 5 games. Wait until Michael Penix gets some of that. That's not an ordinary play he made to Kyle, where have you been, Pitts, at the end. That was not an ordinary throw. Ordinary quarterbacks don't make that throw. I don't know if y'all looked at it 2, 3, 4 times. That's not an ordinary play. We have somebody special, and I hope we understand that even in our disgust. I get it. Ricky Gaines, he says, where do we go from here? You got to go to the next game, man. You got to go to the next game. At the end of the day, they put 17 of them up there. 17 of them up there, and you got to go where we go to. And guess what? Maybe you win, maybe you won't. We'll see. Slim Guy, what's going on, man? How you doing? Good to see you. Say, hey, you got some times out I can use. I just need to get down the field. Oh, man. Yeah, that was bizarre. And I don't even, maybe he was thinking in his mind, man, I do not want to mess this up. I don't know. But he got tight in the moment. And it's not a shame to do that. Folks, the best do it. The best do it. They do. Sorry. Bill Belichick could have been in here in that moment. Bill Belichick might have messed it up. And you don't know. If Bill Belichick was so great, he'd still be at New England right now. which is the most ridiculous comment I've been hearing. We should have hired now. We should have stayed with getting Bill Belichick. Blah, blah, blah. Bill Belichick would have lost. Y'all would have been saying we hired an old coach. Twan, what is going on, sir? Good to see you. Say what's up, Uncle Steve. I need to see a therapist for the heartache the Falcons is giving me. Don't know how much I can take. Brother, stand in line, man. Stand in line. That's a long line. Third Bird says again, wide receivers are who we are until we're proven differently. Or you meant to say we are who we are. Jamal says, I have to stay stealth. Made by J. Cole, but a lot of good music this year. Yeah, it's been a lot of good music. Yeah, y'all make sure y'all put your songs in there too. I know I'm getting down into the list. And appreciate y'all coming in. Please hit the like button there, whether y'all on Facebook, YouTube, y'all put it in here, man. I know it's probably the last broadcast of 2024 for me. So I just wanted to get a good little idea. I told y'all a couple of ones I thought this year. I know early in the year, I said Risk It All from Usher and Her. I thought that was a special one. I really liked $1 Million Baby this year. Throwing that in there. And then Not Like Us, man. I mean, I get all the beef and stuff, but that's just really an addictive little beat. And they're not like us. They're not like us. How can you not find yourself knocking along to that? Alan Mike in the house. What's going on, man? How you doing, brother? He said, hi, Raheem has clock and timeout issues just like Quinn did. Can't believe we lost. I was so funny that you mentioned that because I noticed a lot of people didn't say that. It was the same stuff Quinn had, which the irony is Raheem was on those teams where we blamed Quinn for not having good clock management. So I guess he learned from the best. Tongue squarely in cheek when I made that. So, yeah. Millie Mills says, my song for 2024 was NBA Youngboy at a Donkey. Charlemagne just, don't worry, you probably would like it anyway. Actually, my son likes NBA Youngboy. So I've heard of him. I would be lying to say I know his whole catalog, but I know a couple of songs by him for that. So I'm aware of his presence in the rap world. That was Falcon fan. What's going on, man? He said, Lord have mercy. Raheem did his best Uberflow impression. Huge waste of time, and that cost us an opportunity to win. Defense couldn't tackle most of the game despite having 5 sacks. Yeah, the defense, especially the second half, we really didn't tackle very well. I think we started getting desperate and started going. I even saw Jesse go in for ball punches and stuff like that instead of trying to wrap up at the end. And I know they were getting a little desperate, so I understand. But you're right. You got to start wrapping up. You got to tackle people and putting them on the ground. A lot of people, again, in the fire Raheem narrative going around with a lot of folks today. I mean, I've heard so many narratives. I've heard how Raheem was a DEI hire. I've heard how Belichick should have been here in the first place. I heard how I still see stupid people that say fire Arthur Blank, which to me is the most ignorant statement of all. I've heard people say fire Terry Fontenot, though Terry Fontenot is part of the brain trust that had the I don't know, the prophecy of saying let's get somebody else because Kurt's going to, not be what he is. And I'm not absolving Terry from blame either, because yes, that $100 million of guaranteed money's got to go somewhere next year. So I get that. I'm not saying it. I'm just you can spread that butter of blame across the whole piece of bread. I can't even stop at Raheem for his mistake. Now he's kind of added to it last night because it was just glaring. Every show you watch this morning, every radio show you listen to, every post you see socially, 80 to 90% of the people are definitely blaming him for timeout management, and 50% of those people want him fired, which is still ridiculous when you have a team that hasn't had 8 wins since 2017, and yet everyone is, just, yeah. John Higgins in the house. He said, Uncle Steve, what's happening with you? Timeout. I sit back and listen. Well, y'all crazy, man. Scott Glover's in here, man. What's going on, Scott? He said Mahomes killed us with the penalty. Yeah, that was horrible timing. Horrible timing for him to do that. I know a lot of folks pointed that out early. I think that was the momentum killer. That was. Henry, what's going on, sir? Good to see you. He said the script doesn't like Atlanta. It doesn't. It doesn't. It really doesn't. And Happy New Year to you, my friend. To you and your family as well. Happy New Year to everybody out there in Uncle Steve's Lounge. Again, appreciate y'all for the year. Thank y'all for the support. And more importantly, thank y'all for making this fun for me, man. I don't pretend to be like everyone else when it comes to, doing this my way, kind of Frank Sinatra doing it. But I do enjoy the interaction. I do enjoy the comments. Whether I agree with you or not, it's fun to hear other sides. I was talking to somebody where I was going back and forth respectfully with somebody, and I love that because I'm not going to agree with you. But at the same time, that might sharpen me because I might get some knowledge from you, man. My buddy Abel is in the house supporting the channel, man. I appreciate it. I'm going to get my song out for Abel.
Falcons.
Uh-oh.
We just are tired. Tired of all the losing. We want to do better. We really do.
Pain in our head, we wanna forget. Terry and Arthur, you got to help us, 'cause we've come to the end of the road. It's a place we know. You had 2 timeouts, there is no excuse. Fans are turning back. We come
Thank you,
to
Abel.
the end of the road.
Yeah, I got a lot of time on my
It's
hands.
a place we know.
He said, what's
You
good,
had
Unc?
2 timeouts, there is no excuse. Fans are turning back. Come
I guess I had the long
to
version of that on
the
there.
end of the road.
That's a long version. Thank you. But for $9.99, we gonna play the long version, man. Thank you, Abel. I appreciate you, brother. Thank you for coming in. He said, what's good? At what point that has become an abusive relationship? Love the birds, but seems like I'm the only one invested in the relationship. You know what? You're not. You're one of many who invest time, emotion, and all of that into a team. And I think all you're expecting back is a little bit of results. And I know as much as that hurts yesterday because you lost an opportunity to kind of control your destiny going into this week. And for the record, yes, officially we're not eliminated, but yeah, the Saints aren't even healthy, and I'm not betting on Spencer Rattler going in there to do anything special down in Tampa. It is tough, man. It's a relationship thing. You say to yourself, like, man, I thought this team was gonna fight this year. I thought this team was gonna be, I thought this team was gonna be strong, but it is what it is. Abel, thank you so much, man. I appreciate you as always. Thank you so much. Kenzale in the house. What's up, Kenzale? How you doing? He said, what's up, Steve? All I want for New Year's is a timeout, please. Y'all begging for it, man. Oh, goodness gracious. Kelvin, how you feeling, man? What's going on? He said, what's up, y'all? Excited about what I saw last night, but Morris seems a little too comfortable next season is make or break for Raw. I'm in that mode. That probably sums up a lot for me because it's hard not to get excited about Bijan Robinson. It's hard not to get excited about, oh man, wait until Penix develops some chemistry with these guys. Because when all of that happens, and when all of that comes together, you can't get that in 2 or 3 games. And I'm sorry, y'all, just because we drafted him in the first round, that doesn't mean day one that he comes out and balls out just like that. Nobody does that. No one does that. They don't. So I don't know what y'all expect. It doesn't happen like that. But I do feel like, yeah, for Raheem, you gotta take this to the next level. You got to be more than 8 or 9 wins next year. Corliss, what's going on, sir? How you feeling? He said to quote Keith David in Dead Presidents, Raheem froze up. He did. He did. That's what I say. I think he froze up. I think he did. I think he did. Coach says, not all of us had our chest poked out. I've been screaming this 5-alarm fire since week 3. I seen how we were winning, and it was going to be the same way we lost. Been screaming this. Oh, yeah. Well, listen, bruh, you one of the few. Because I think naturally, see, and you got to remember, see, as somebody who coaches, which I have a few of y'all in here who are coaches and got a couple of former players that under different pseudonyms that I just don't mention. But you can't, some of y'all don't have that emotion things because y'all been involved in it. You know what goes on. You know what behind the scenes. The fan experience is different. We can't do those things. We can't put on a headset and be on the sideline. We think we can. We'll put the Twitter fingers on and say we can. We yell in the stands and say we can. But in actuality, we really can't. It's not. It's not. So, it's we gotta be, I don't know. It's hard for me not to get emotional about my team and give a immediate reaction, whether it's right or wrong. Do I think Raheem made a bad move last night? Yes. Do I think Michael Penix had a bad game? I actually don't, because I looked at some things and I said to myself, yeah, for game number 2 on the road, I think he did pretty well. Because I don't think a lot of number 1 picks are going to throw that pass on 4th down and goal after being pushed back to the 26 and get you that touchdown. But I just really don't. But that could just be me. T. Walker, I appreciate you, man. Thank you so much. He said, in tears in that super chat song about T.O. Please run that back. Hold on, man. Y'all gonna make me. And I gotta put the other one on too. Hold on, let's see. Come on, Terry. I'm gonna throw the other one on too. Don't get me wrong. $10 super chat, you get 2 of them. We want something to cheer for. We need you to come through. Oh, Terry, we've had our share of heartbreaks. None of this is danger. But if you think you can turn this around, Terry, we wish that you would, cause y'all keep telling us this and telling us that. We got Kirk Cousins and Bijan in back. Judon and Jesse will help us compete. Come on, Hill Falcons, practice what you preach. AJ, I gotta put the other one on. I'm gonna play the other one in a second. Jesse, I gotta rewind back to the other one. Don't worry, T. I got you. Come on, Falcons, practice what you preach. Trust me, I'm gonna turn it back up. Oh man, let me get back in here. Thank you, brother. I appreciate you as always, man. Thank you for the support on the channel. Let's see. Let me get back up here. Y'all are awesome. I love all these comments up here. Dexter Owens said this loss is strictly on Morris. Jimmy Lake did a good job on defense. And when the last time you heard that, the last couple of weeks until we get a lead, he will blitz the whole first half and get a lead, start rushing 3 or 4. Yeah. Until we get some depth, and we got some guys coming. I know we got Hitman on the injured reserve. We haven't seen Braylon Trice yet. I'm trying to tell y'all, I watch UW a lot. Braylon Trice is going to be a nice surprise for everyone. And let me give it up to Caden Ellis, man. I'm going to tell you what. I need to go see what his contract situation is. I don't know where Tidy is when I need him. Shout out to Atlanta Bird Gang. I'm gonna probably pull up Spot Track in a second just to see what his situation is. But I'm trying to tell you, man, you can't let Caden Ellis get out of this building the way he's been playing. Let me see what he has left. He is, and I just looked on here. Yeah, they have a chance to get out of his contract this year. Look for them to extend Caden Ellis. This is his he has 1 year left, but they can actually get out of it in 2025. I don't see them doing that. He's only making $8 million. He has overplayed that contract. I think he's and a leader on this team too. So Francis Hutt Washington is in the house. What is going on? Say, hey, Uncle Steve, I was angry for the loss. Second half just lost enthusiasm like we've seen before. Penix has to practice hitting his target. He overthrew the guys. Coach Raw didn't manage the time. I am going to I understand and I get where people are saying he overthrew people. Yes, he missed the Bijan out of the backfield. He missed Mooney on one of the plays. Folks, all year long until 3 weeks ago, he was throwing to practice squad folks all year. Even in the summer, they were trying to develop chemistry between Kirk Cousins, who was thought to be their first string quarterback, and all of the major receivers, meaning Drake, meaning Mooney, meaning Kyle Pitts. So to throw him in week 15 or 16, and for him to do what he has done for the last couple of weeks is amazing. Yes, gonna get better with that. I know people don't want to hear wait until next season because that's our theme and the motto, as it is with 31 other teams in the NFL. Let's not try to fool ourselves. But I still see promise in the young man. One thing I like, he doesn't get scared in the pocket. He really doesn't. He stands in there to the last second if he has to. And he moved a couple of times, but yeah, this is not gonna be Jaden Daniels. But if you throw with that zip that he showed yesterday, you don't need to be Jaden Daniels. You're gonna be fine. Leroy Knight in the house. What is going on, Chris? How you doing, sir? He said, we didn't need to be KC. We had a 6-3 record. We could have won 11 games, true, won the division, and maybe had a shot to win a playoff game and to lose 5 games and beating the Panthers ain't no guarantee. True. Factual statements. And he's absolutely right. You don't need to be 16-1 or 15-1 or whatever. You don't need that. You don't. Michael says the only one happy is Rich McKay. Tampa's going to the playoffs. Hey, y'all leave Rich McKay alone. Oh man, Millie said them issues are glaring now, though. Yes, they are. Kelvin says the hard thing is we're 4 field goals away from 11 wins. Well, they say if butts with candy and nuts, we all be happy at Christmas. Dre says they were glaring, then it's just we were winning. Well, when you're winning, it has. So that's a good question because I'm just looking at teams in recent memory. I go back to the Minnesota team. Was that the Minnesota team of last year or the year before when Matt Ryan, they came back on Matt Ryan for the game. Minnesota was like 13-14-3 or 13-4, and you kept looking at those little squeaky losses that they kept. I mean, squeaky wins that they kept getting, and you were saying to yourself, you know what? Are they really that good? And it turned they got beat by the Giants in the first round of the playoffs. That's when you kind of say, oh, okay. So for the Falcons, yeah, there's probably a part where you're saying, you know what? Maybe they were exposed a little bit. But you know what, Dre? That'll work out for next year because now you know what you need to fix. And if you can't fix it next year, that's when you start talking about getting rid of folks. I just think we're a society where y'all start watching The Apprentice too much, and you think you could fire somebody just like you're fired just because they make one mistake. Think about if we all made one mistake. I know our jobs aren't the NFL, so please don't go there. All I'm just saying is he made a mistake, made a couple of mistakes, but we are 8-8. All of us kept talking about, oh, we're gonna go 7-10 again. Well, guess what? He's gonna win 8, and probably more than likely gonna win 9 games this year. So we're gonna fire. I'm just trying to get the energy of it. It's one thing to be upset, but you can't be irrational. If you end the year 9-8, you build. You build on that. If you go backwards from there, then you start talking about that. But we weren't 8-8 last year. We hadn't won 8 games since 2017. So I do feel like, yeah, the whole fire campaign is just interesting. And then if you fire, who you gonna get? I heard somebody tell me Rex Ryan today. Rex Ryan is a clown. Rex Ryan is a media made dude. Those years he was with the Jets, he was, that kind of buffoonery stuff. And he has the perfect job at ESPN. I think he does a great job on that, but that's his niche. It's all good. He's one of those coaches. I'm telling you, Rex Ryan gonna come in there. Rex Ryan will be 4-2, and it'll be the same as we did this year. Everybody get happy. Then when he start losing and some of that character comes out, it's not gonna be as funny anymore. It's not gonna be as fun. And Raw is one of that. That was the one thing I kind of warned at the beginning of the year. I was not. Raheem wasn't even on my radar to be hired. I was on the Belichick bandwagon, but it didn't happen. So when it didn't, I moved on. But I was on the Belichick. I was on the Harbaugh. Knew Harbaugh wasn't coming. He was going West Coast. But I knew that was going to happen. But again, it's done. Belichick was not going to help this team any more than what we would have done this year. I'm sorry. But y'all can say that if y'all want to. Because guess what? Belichick probably wouldn't have got Penix. Maybe he wouldn't have got Kirk Cousins either. But we would have been playing a whole different style of ball. And I'm trying to tell y'all, be careful what you wish for. When Tom Brady left, they won 1 year. And they took Cam Newton and thought they were going to turn him into a winner. Cam Newton is doing podcasts like me. Alamite says, the only way we get in is Baker getting hurt because their backup quarterback is trash. Yeah, I mean, listen, there's a slight chance, a very slight chance that we get in. But I don't know, man. I'm not feeling it. I'm really not. King Richie says, when Jaden started running, our defense should have been in a dime or 3 safety look, but all over the defense did the job. We got out coached for real. And King, no matter what, King, he's been doing that all year. Let's not pretend, and I'm not pointing you out. Let's not pretend like Jaden ain't been doing that to everybody all year. He did that to Philly last week. He's been doing that all year. He's going to be a problem. He's going to be like that guy over in Baltimore. He's going to be a problem because he's just athletically crazy gifted and can still throw the ball. He's going to be a problem. We just, And I'm not saying you can't beat a guy like that. We should have beat him last night. But there's going to be soon a defense to stop that. Because as with everything, everybody finds one. They will. Dexter says this kind of helped us out maybe a little. Maybe next year these first year coaches learn how to call a game better. That 3rd and 22 hurt like hell because that let them went on a 9-minute drive. We got 3 plays the whole third quarter. I pointed that out probably, Dexter, and I probably took a while to get down to the bottom. You're absolutely right. That was a momentum killer. That play there, all the Falcons had to do was just sit tight, and we would have got the ball back and maybe run some more clock and demoralize them a little bit more. Does that mean Jaden still doesn't make a comeback? I don't know. But all I know is that was a huge play. And you think about the defense, we all start talking about tackling. By the end, the defense had been on the field. Look, it was 15 minutes as far as a quarter is concerned, but think about it. Yeah, they were probably on the field about almost an hour during that whole third quarter, beginning of the fourth. Remember, they didn't take the lead to the beginning of the fourth quarter. So, you played a good team. You really did play a good team. And you played an excellent quarterback. Kenneth in the house. What's going on, Kenneth? How you doing, brother? Kenneth said Desmond Ridder looks better every game. This head coach plays and how wrong he has been since showing up in Atlanta. Y'all, boy, he ain't even been here a good month. Y'all are ready to throw him out. It's interesting. Dre said he did a backhand accountability. He said, I thought the players could have gotten to the line faster, but in hindsight, I should have called it. So, yeah, he took accountability, but not really. Here's the problem with y'all. And I'm sorry. I don't even do that. Yeah, if I messed up, I think y'all want to go out there and put a T-shirt on and say, I messed up. But then if you do that, you're looking like you're mocking it. But if you go out and say, I screwed up. I mean, what are you? I mean, what good does that do us? Do you feel better about life about that? If Raheem had come out yesterday and said, y'all know what? Forget the rest of the team. I screwed it. Y'all blame it on me. That's not helping anything. I don't know what y'all want. The man said he did. And it wasn't bullseye on my chest. I messed up, but it was like, yeah, I probably could have done that better. I just laugh. And I don't know what people want. Horrible play. Of course I recognize that. Not fireable though. The difference between that and Chicago, the Chicago stuff, that's a little different. They were in a different situation. They had lost like 4 in a row before that. 3 in a row before that. They were already headed in the wrong direction. We didn't do ours till a little bit later. If we had been 3-6 or something like that, who knows? Maybe you could have made a point. But I just don't think you can do that. Ricky says Raheem used poor time management at the end of the first half too. Yes, he did. We left points on the board, stopped the clock at the moment. Yeah, first half as well. And I you're absolutely right. 30 seconds and plus would have got us at least another 10 to 15 yards extra, which would have given the kicker a better shot at. Oh, Ricky, there is nothing about that scenario that not only I don't know that everybody's been told. That whole scenario, there is nothing I'm going to say that's going to be different. And nothing that I'm going to say that's going to cover up the fact that Raheem made a horrible decision. But I'm not firing him. And you got to ask the team, too. You got to ask the team about that. I don't think the team's going to fire. I think the team might be upset about it. But I don't think they're going to fire him. Mike says, do you think Bijan would have scored a touchdown if the pass was there? Oh, man, Bijan was on fire. Bijan would have caught that ball. That was a TD all the way and probably would have demoralized them for the rest of the game. Might have. That one Falcon fan says Raheem deserves all the heat he's getting, and I can't defend him after this. We will never be taken seriously until we make true noise in the NFL. There is zero defense for what Raheem did yesterday. None. And he'll tell you that. Zero defense. But at the end of the day, guess what? He got to move on to Carolina and hope we can do what we can. There are going to be a lot of moments we're going to look back at this year and say, shoulda, coulda, woulda. And last night is another one. But no defense at all. King says, I think we're going to see a lot of Washington and Vegas on our schedule due to the viewership, so we can get rewards for that game. For real, for real. Listen, I'm going to tell you, we're going to see Washington again because we're going to finish second in the NFC South, and they're going to finish second in the NFC East. So we're going to see them next year. Don't know where, but we're going to see them next year. No doubt. J&D Truck says, my song for 2024 is Chris Brown, Under the Influence. I heard that. Chris Brown still. All right. Coach says, I don't like her, but I can't deny is one heck of a catchy song. And yeah, that's Yeah Glow by Glorilla. Look, Glorilla had a big year this year. I see her album on a lot of top 10 albums of the year thing. King Richard said, why was Malone in coverage anyways? Because that's a good question. And especially that far down. Yeah, that's crazy. Rick says, we don't need to fire anyone. We need to build successful synergy around our franchise quarterback to provide stability. That's been the Achilles heels for the Falcons for the past 8 years. True. Consistently inconsistent. True. Oh, and Coach said, Oxford at the end of the road. Hey, man. End of the road. End of the road. Oh, man. Speaking of Super Chat, we got another one coming up. That's our buddy Rusty. What we got? What we got on tap for Rusty? What can we get here? Let's go here.
How can you know I love you? No matter what you do.
I ain't got no time on my hands, man. Rusty, thank you so much, my brother. I appreciate you, man. Thank you for the super chat. Appreciate y'all supporting the channel today. Rusty says, if this is week 5, everybody is probably over it by tomorrow, but it's bad taste. It's going to be in our mouth for the next 8 months. This one stings. And it had playoff implications on top of that, too. If you think about it, Russ. Playoff implications mount on top of what? That magnifies it. That's what I'm trying to say. It magnifies it even more. So, yes, I do. Absolutely. Thank you, Russ. Appreciate you, brother. Sister Alert in the house. What's going on? Brigida Johnson in the house says, guess it's back to another season of rebuilding. Lennox tried against another team fighting for their berth. We didn't lay down and take the L, but call the timeout. Yeah. Call the timeout is the central theme of today. Call the timeout. Dwayne's in the house. What's up, Dwayne? How you doing, brother? He said, what's up, Uncle Steve? I am just getting on, but wanted to comment. Hands down, Raheem caused this loss. I hope he has learned from it. Kyle Pitts, even though he scored, body language shows he is checked out. I don't think it's about whether we can do what Raheem does, but on any level. You don't hold on to timeouts when you have a kicker and a rookie quarterback in the game. Call a timeout and call a play that displays Penix's strength. Put your team in the best position to win. I mean, and that I was telling somebody else about that. I agree with you wholeheartedly, and I'll add the kicker part that you put in. When you have a rookie quarterback, you're going to have to look out for him in that situation. Now, if you look at Penix's press conference, Penix said it clean. He said, well, Raheem called the time. Raheem is in charge of calling the timeouts. Because if that was Josh Allen, Pat Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers, as bad as he's been, or somebody like that, they probably got a lot of acumen to make that call. But he did right. Let Raheem take that heat. Tony Jackson in the house. What's going on, Tony? How you doing, sir? Trying to get my, where's my clap? There you go. He said, how about the art of tackling? Yes, that was key too. The tackling was atrocious. It was. No, I agree with you wholeheartedly, TJ. Kenneth says Uncle Steve Ritter is better than Penix, and he deserves all the criticisms and more. Remember, we are still one quarterback away from winning it all. Wow. Kenneth has been on the eggnog early. Kelvin says Ritter better than Penix. Give me so much you smoking. Yeah, I think Kenneth just messing with us. Alan Mike says get Johnson from the Lions for head coach. I can't do it. I can't do it right now, Alan Mike. I gotta stick with Raheem one more year, man. I gotta give him one more year. I really do. I really have to give him one more year. I am. I know a lot of people. I know that's not popular coming 24 hours after a really sad mistake. But I got to give him one more year. I can't just throw it away. Antonio's in the house. What's going on, Antonio? What's up? I'm a little disappointed that we're not making the playoffs, but we finally got a QB. And I think that's the part that I'm just trying to say before y'all jump off the bridge for the 6th straight year. Dude, this ain't Ritter coming in 2 years ago. That's not what this is. This is not it. Michael Penix showed more promise under that position at quarterback for the Atlanta Falcons than any quarterback has done since 2018. Yes, and I know who was here then. And I think it's going to be fine. I think we are. It's just disappointing that we didn't finish the job this year. Very disappointing. Dre says, Unc, I'm not saying fire anyone. That's not going to happen. I only ever want to get people to have a real expectation. You're a man of faith, so you will get this. Ra is the man building his house on saying, yeah. Oh, absolutely get that. Yeah. And I think to this is not saying that you accept mistakes. This is not saying that you make a mistake. Oh, too bad. No, these guys are getting paid a lot of money and fans are investing, as my brother was talking about earlier in the podcast, about investing feelings, emotions, and things like that in here. That's real, man. That's real. That is real when you're talking about what people invest feelings into this thing, man. So you gotta think about that. Keith Simmons in the house. What's going on, family? How you doing now? He said we got out coached. We could have had 11 or 12 win team this year. I'll definitely say 11. I think I look back at that Pittsburgh game and I'm really ticked off that we didn't win that. I'm not going to say Kansas City just for the mere fact that Kansas City is Kansas City. But I will go back and look at that New Orleans game. I'll definitely go back. I know people don't want to say that, but that Vikings game, y'all remember the game was tied at going into the 4th quarter. I look at that game and say, we let that go. Chargers game, let that go. Last night, we let that go. So yeah, that's 11. Definitely. Dre says, what him coming out and saying this is all on me does is make your players ingratiate themselves to you. Look how Detroit took all the blame last year and even cried his team rallied behind him. Yeah, that could probably happen too. Dan Campbell is I like Detroit a lot. Let's not act like Detroit's been balling for about 4 or 5 years, though. He might have run into the perfect storm as well, as far as he's concerned. Y'all think Jared Goff gonna keep that up for 2-3 years? Okay. I want to take your bet on that one. Dan Campbell is no different than Dan Quinn. Just younger and not as experienced yet. That rah-rah works and no pun intended with Raheem, but that rah-rah coach works, and that gritty, all that works till you start losing. We'll see. Carlo Wiggins in house said Raheem deflecting responsibility for this is insane. I don't know, man. Maybe I'm looking at the wrong. I was listening to the wrong press conference because you're not the first one to say that. So I think I got something different out of it, but I don't know. Maybe y'all are getting something different. Mike says timeout, some for losers. Oh man, he's making fun of the stats of a loser's thing with Raheem. Keith Simmons says the defense is looking better. Defense is looking better. Defense is looking better. Maybe too little, too late, but they are. Dre says Ben didn't want the job last year either. People stopped just throwing names out there because they are free. Don't mean they don't want the Falcons. We have no history and not a big market deal for it. And I'm gonna tell you something, man. Look, I'm saying every coordinator, this is not the dream job for folks. It really isn't right now. We'll see. Let's see how like I said, y'all give it another shot. I really feel like Raheem deserves every bit of the infernal flame that y'all are throwing at him today. I mean, I'm not throwing infernal flame at him. I'm throwing a match or two at him. But at the same time, folks, there are a lot of things this season that were not Raheem's fault. There are a lot of things that could have even gone front office. But I also tell people, too, I've heard that argument, fire Terry. Because he gave Kirk Cousins all that money. Man, if we would have come into this season and started this season with Gardner Minshew at quarterback, went on it, let's just hypothetically say we would have had Michael Penix. But we would have probably started Gardner Minshew or Jacoby Brissett. Y'all would have been ticked off. It's so funny sometimes listening. It is hilarious sometimes to listen to this. We spent all that money on Kirk. Yeah, we did. And folks, it's not going to kill us. Once this year's go, guess what? That salary cap going to go up another $20 million. It went up $20-some million this year. It's going to go up $20-some million. They're going to be able to take whatever Kurt didn't have or what we owe Kurt. They're going to spread it down the middle, and we're going to be fine. Are we going to be able to get another $100 million player? No. But I don't think that's the plan. But we're going to be fine. Stop worried about that. We good. We got a guy who was on a team that finangled the salary cap for decades down in the Louisiana area. Chuck, what's going on, brother? How you doing, sir? He said, what's up, Steve? I'm definitely focusing on next season. I'll question if the key leadership has the acumen to put Penix in the best position to win in the future. We've got to show consistency there. Here's the thing about that, Charles. If we don't, look, you have your franchise quarterback already. And folks, I got a better chance of growing hair than the Falcons have of making the playoffs next week. But that's your only charge next year, man. Your charge next year is to put Penix in the best position to win in the future. Does that mean getting another right tackle to guard his blind side? Does that mean getting some younger guys on that defensive line, some hungrier guys that can continuously put that pressure on? I don't know, but that's your charge. And if you can't do that as a coaching staff and as a GM, then at the end, if we're having this conversation at the end of 2025, then you talk about firing folks again. But I don't think Terry or Raheem are going anywhere. Mike says, Unc, I wasn't asking for Raheem's job. You asked who we could get to replace him. Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. Got it. I got you, Mike. That's my man, Heidi Jones in the house, Atlanta Bird game. I hate it because I think I caught part of you came on earlier than normal today. So how dare you? And normally I get a chance to see you leading up to me, but I was trying to take care of some business, but I didn't get a chance. Y'all make sure y'all check out my man Tidy in Atlanta Bird Gang. He is always putting it down in there. Like and subscribe to the channel. My brother, I know just by looking at your post last night, this was a hurtful one. If we fire Raheem after this season, then we have set a precedent that we are firing all head coaches going forward who only win 8 or 9 games in their first season with the Falcons. You know, again, we're emotional. The great thing is about social media is that you get to express your feelings and your opinions. The worst thing about social media is you get to express your emotions and your opinions. Because I think we're all in the moment. I do it too. I do it as well. I'm not saying it's not okay, but I think going all the way to fire. When have we won 8 games last? We haven't won 8 games. My son was in middle school. He's already graduated now. The last time we won 8 games. And if we win 9 games, what y'all gonna say? Win 9, you should have won 11. Guess what? I was saying it earlier. We aside of New Orleans, every team we've lost to, sans Seattle, is a playoff team. We've lost to 6 playoff teams this year. Pittsburgh, Kansas City, Chargers, Washington, Minnesota, and I'm missing somebody. I forgot who I'm missing. But I mean, it's not like this wasn't the schedule we thought we were gonna have coming into the season. Nobody thought Denver was gonna be balling like they were. Nobody thought the Chargers maybe because of Herbert, but not balling like that. Nobody thought Darnold was going to come in or J.J. McCarthy was going to come in and light things up in Minnesota. And definitely nobody was thinking Jaden Daniels was going to come in and do the things he's done. So we got to be realistic about some things sometimes. Got to. Kivia, what's going on, man? How you doing, brother? Say, I like our future drafts. Needs to be defensive end, cornerback, linebacker. Speaking of cornerbacks, man, AJ playing, man. I don't want to even pump him up more than he has because he just got that contract, so he need to be balling out. But he's been playing good. Trey said, Tidy, go back to singing. The sun will come out tomorrow. Man, y'all are hard, man. Oh, man. Rusty says calling Pittsburgh and trading for Mike Tomlin is the move. Tomlin ain't going nowhere. If he was, they probably would have come last year. I just don't think he will. My brother John Harris in the house. What is going on, brother? How you doing? We appreciate the super chat. What did I do over here?
Yes, it's over all of the day. Sorry that it had to end.
It's the Falcons season swan.
No reason to pretend this season had to end someday.
Yeah, Woo! John said, y'all make sure y'all check the eye tests out too. They usually come on Wednesday nights at 10 p.m. Please make sure you check them out and see what's going on. He said, you said it last night, that stupid illegal contact changed the game. Yep. And Kingsbury and Robinson's OCs and Yates versus Pritchard's quarterbacks was a coaching mismatch. Yeah, we did get out coached, especially in the second half. Especially in the second half. I really do. I really feel like that was a big difference. Dan Quinn is still Dan Quinn. Dan Quinn has guys. Cliff Kingsbury is playing the role of Kyle Shanahan. It is no way Kingsbury is going to be there next year, in my opinion. Somebody's going to hire him. Somebody's going to hire him. I absolutely agree. That was a mismatch, without a doubt. Scott says, think about it though. With Gardner or Jacoby, Penix would have started early, and that may be true. But how long do you think they would have probably? I don't know. Do we beat Philadelphia with? Look, and I'm not saying Kirk Cousins is the God sent and the savior and the greatest quarterback that ever lived, but I'm not sure Penix would have gone on the road and beat Philly. I'm not sure Penix would have won one of those games against Tampa Bay. I don't know, and that's the thing. It's easy to play that game, but I hear what you're saying. Yeah. More than likely, with them there, he might have been in game 6, 7, 8. So that's a fair point. One love in the house. What is going on? Good to see you, brother. He said, if we don't sign Kurt, we don't get Penix. Yeah, that's a good point, too. Good point. Dre says the draft consists only defensive players and trade for a speedy receiver who can take advantage of the arm that MPJ had. Now, remember, Moore got some speed, right? My man who got hurt. I mean, that we picked up for Ritter, right? Doesn't he have a little speed? Because he was kind of Ray's. That's why we brought Ray in here, right? After he got hurt. Y'all correct me if I'm wrong. Doesn't Wandale have some speed? The guy who got hurt that we got it for Tidy's favorite quarterback? Desmond Ritter? I think so. Demetrius says, and by the way, Uncle Steve, my birthday is tomorrow. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Now, tomorrow you share that my father, resting in heaven, it was his birthday on New Year's Eve as well. So you share a great day, my friend. So happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Charles says Falcons, Hawks, and even the Dream have showed the inability to be able to close the big games consistently. The Braves too, but at least they made it happen twice. Yeah, it's football. That's the one I think that if we got that one, I believe it would be a different thing. Words can't express how much I think the closing out that one after the 2016 season. I'm not saying the euphoria would have lasted past that, but I do feel like that would have given us a little time to kind of get things together. But we're just hungry, man. The fan base hasn't tasted even that type of atmosphere since 16 and 17. And we're all desperate. And we all want to win. We all want to win. It's just like you can't fire the dude. You can fire him. But here's the thing, y'all. The folks that say fire Raheem, y'all going to be the same ones complaining when the next team goes 6-11 because Raheem's guy's going to be gone. So it's a never-ending, revolving door. You don't want that. I don't want that. What's going on, man? ATLG faithful. What is going on, my brother? I saw you at the game the other day. He saw me coming up the stairs, man. I was like, oh man, that was good to see you, brother. Hopefully I see you next week to end this season out. Hopefully we finish in style. Y'all make sure y'all check him out on his YouTube channel as well, doing his thing on there. Aunt Kira in the house. That's the wife alert on here. Aunt Kira adds to the conversation. She says, I think Coach Rob may have been traumatized by timeouts as a kid. Dang. Maybe hypnosis therapy could help. Only then will he take full accountability. Hashtag heal Raheem. Man, y'all are hard on Raheem, man. Said therapy? But it is kind of true. That and I forgot who it was that was mentioning earlier. It's a Kira who was watching the game with me was probably listening to me and my son, just like losing our minds. Like, dude, call a timeout. What are you doing? What are you doing? Call a timeout. You can't save them. You can't save them. You gotta call it. But you know what? You live and learn, man. Live and learn. Deanna in the house. How you doing, Deanna? Denver is the other team. Thank you. That's who the other team was. Thank you. I appreciate that. You're absolutely correct. The other playoff team that we lost to. Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Alexa Stroh said, did Tyler get the ball? Yeah, Tyler ran the ball good in the first half. Matter of fact, we had over 100 yards rushing in the first half. Tyler had some nice runs. But you knew in the second half, as expected, they kept the ball in Jalen's hands, man. Robinson didn't even have a great game. I'm trying to see what did Robinson do yesterday. Just for craps and giggles. Because I don't think he did much. Oh, 1 second. And folks, again, you know, if it wasn't, that was such a great game yesterday. I almost wish we weren't as tied to it. Brian Robinson had 60 yards, and let's not fool ourselves. He didn't do what he was supposed to do. Jalen made him better than he was. Jaden had 127 yards rushing. Brian Robinson had 60 yards rushing. Bijan had 90. Tyler had 19. Ray had 1 run for 14. We were doing what we wanted to do until they just took advantage in the second half. Drew, what's up, Drew? Said Raheem looked stupid while time was running. And here's the crazy thing, right? He did have a look on his face, was like it was disoriented. When they finally went over to him, we were like, dude, what are you doing? What are you doing? Maybe he forgot for a minute this wasn't college. In college, they stopped the ball for a second or two. But come on, man. And even the folks who are on the headset, coach, stop the clock. We got 2 timeouts. Stop the clock. Stop the clock. I don't know. That's a classmate in the house, Keith Smith. What's going on, brother? He said Belichick would have called a timeout. We would have won that game, and a lot of the ones we lost. Man, listen, again, I say again, at the beginning of the year when this whole process started, I did say Belichick would be a nice hire. Belichick, whatever happened, it didn't happen. And so I am one. When Lamar Jackson didn't come to Atlanta, I moved on. When other things don't happen that we want to happen, we move on. That's the thing with Belichick. I mean, it would have been nice, but he's not here. So I mean, I get it, but Coach said it looked like the wife heard what we heard in Ross' interview. Oh, Chloe listened to. For the record, she was listening to the interview with me after it went off. And when I was telling her, I said, yeah, I want to hear this press conference. So she heard the same thing I did. So you try to break up a happy home, man. You ain't no good, Dre. But all kidding aside, she was sitting next to me when he did. I wouldn't say it was a full fall on the sword, but it was definitely a little piercing where there could have been a little bleeding in there falling on the sword. But Michael Penix threw him totally on the bus. He said, yeah, that was Coach Raheem didn't call that timeout. Drew said sitting there looking at him, just arms crossed, staring off at the field with the F calling. Drew, I say again, I was yelling at the screen, as she would tell you. When that happened, like, dude, call time. What are you doing? What are you doing? I don't know. Maybe he's trying to. Yeah. You could have easily gotten 2 more plays. You could have easily gotten 2 more plays out of that. J&D Truck says, what free agent on our team would you bring back for 2025? Judon, Simmons, Ray. I know this is unpopular with folks. I bring back Simmons. And I really feel like him and Jesse, they had their moments. New Orleans game was not a good look for them. Minnesota was not a good look for them. But for the most part, they've held it down. I would invest more in him than I would Judon. As much as Judon has come on in the last couple of days, unless Judon gives us a massive cut and give us like a $2-3 million deal, I can't do it. I can't do it. And Judon is not going to make a whole lot. I'm trying to say he's making $6 million this year. Well, $7 million. He makes 7.5 this year. If he comes back for $3-4 million, I'll let him come back. He ain't got nothing to lose. Charles, thank you. He said Rondale 40 times 4.24. Yeah. So Dre, that's when I was talking about when you were talking about speedy guys. I think that was you that said that. So. Dirty Bird 67 said the cameraman did raw on his suit. Raw looking crazy. So see, Dirty Bird, you were with me. When that camera went to him, he almost had a look on his face like just glass. You're absolutely right. He did him no favors. It was like blank. What is going on up there? I mean, and thank goodness for the pass interference. Dre said he gave himself a paper cut. Oh man, come on, man. That was at least a fork. It wasn't a paper. Y'all are wrong. Dave Scott said, they say, oh, you're going to heaven for giving Raheem this much grace. Okay, so I want to make it clear. I am not on Raheem's payroll. I am not a close friend. I am not truly defending his mistake yesterday. That was a horrible mistake. I just think I say it in the whole totality of things, as a lot of you have brought up. Raheem can't tackle. Raheem can't tell the guys to run the right route, so Penix doesn't throw an interception. I mean, there are so many things, but that's the most glaring thing, because you know what? That's the responsibility of arguably the most important person on the field for the team, the head coach. If anybody does their job correctly on the field, you've got to do your job as head coach. So that's why I say no excuses, but I'm just saying I can't fire him. Y'all are wrong. Alexis says, what do you think about Nick Saban? I think Nick Saban would be a great coach. Here's the problem. Nick Saban ain't thinking about coaching no more. Nick Saban, you see Nick Saban on every commercial now. You see him having a good time on Saturdays with that college football today when they go on the different campuses. He's basically a Hollywood star when he goes there, man. Nick Saban ain't thinking about it. Because even when they talked to him about Belichick coming in, and you know, he was saying, hey, he know he still has the yearning to coach. I don't think Saban has it. I think Saban is like me and Miss what's the wife's name? Oh, you say her name all the time. Miss what's his wife's name? You mentioned it to her all the time. Miss Terry. Is it me and Miss Terry doing good? And all them Applet checks be coming in. Antonio says, what's even worse is all Riley need was a few extra yards, call timeout, and we get a few more yards easily, Antonio. Easily. Easily. He said, I do think NFL overtime needs to change. Both teams have the possession. Well, I like the idea. You reward the team for scoring a touchdown. Because see what used to happen before, because all you had to do was get in field goal range. I do like the fact that says, you know what? I'm going to reward if you go straight down here and score a touchdown because the other team got to stop you. Now, if they would have scored a field goal and then we would stop, yeah. But I think I kind of like it like they have it. Score a touchdown or not. Score a touchdown or bust. Trey said Raw was standing on the sideline looking like radio. Hey, boy, y'all going in hard on Raheem today. I'm going to say this tape for Raheem. Tell him all these people saying that's God and Dre. Oh, man. Alexa says Judon good for 500. Oh, man. I will say this. For 33 next year, if he gave us and I hear you loud and clear, he was definitely not worth the 3rd round pick. But if he came back and said, I'll take a contract for $3 million, I'll take him as just another body to have on the team. Yeah, I get it. He was not as advertised. I get that. But if he came cheap, I'd think about it. But I would take Simmons first before I take. And I've told people this already. I know I don't want to start junk. I say bye to Grady this year. I know people don't want to hear that. I say bye to Grady. I think about, does Mooney want to play anymore? He seems, I don't know what it is about since Kurt been gone. I don't know. And I know he's been hurt. He's a nice player, but I don't know. Just seems like, I don't know whether he's playing hurt and that's just attitude looks like he's having. Like, when you're just too smart for the game. I'm like, okay, bro, come on now. Need you to step your game up. But Gary is somebody that you got to think about for the money that you're going to pay him next year. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, I don't think next year, I think you can opt out. Yep. This is the year they can opt out of that. So they can definitely opt out of his contract this year with McGrady. McGarry, I'm sorry. But yeah, I would sincerely think about it. King says, I want Kirby Smart. I'm sure you do. Kirby ain't going nowhere. Kirby at home. Kirby ain't going nowhere. Y'all can get that out your mind. Not at all. Kirby said, as long as they keep giving them steak dinners in Athens and Ford keep giving me these F-150s, I'm good. He ain't got to do a thing. He's probably in 2nd place as far as commercials are concerned. Dre says, football already soft as ice cream. No need to change. OT, either stop them or get an L. Yeah, that's I'm kind of in that boat. You got to stop them. You got to stop them. Got to. Dre says, Grady, one of these days, Grady. Them kids don't know that one. To the moon. Nas booed him expeditiously. Absolutely. Y'all are wrong, man. Y'all are wrong. Hey, listen. Y'all have been great, man. This has been about an hour and a half. It's kind of what I figured I was going to do. I know there's a lot. Look, y'all, I don't even want to try to pretend like there's a lot of hope for this. I'm trying to tell you, if I had big money, I would put it all on Tampa Bay. Not the point spread. They got 14 points. I'm like, yeah, I don't think New Orleans defense is, and I know the Raiders, and I get it, but I think they might have a little bit of pride there. I don't think it's going to be 48-14, but I do feel like it might be a 2-touchdown deal for that game tomorrow. I mean tomorrow, this week. I don't think they're going to have a chance, and I don't think they are, going to be putting up any fight. But hey, y'all have a absolutely great New Year celebration. Y'all be safe out there on the roads if you're going on the roads, and hopefully we'll see, man. Let's just see how this thing plays all out. I really do feel like we have a good chance to get 9 wins. We'll talk about it on the other side of the game and talk about the future and what happens. If there's a miracle, obviously we'll talk about that. If there's a miracle by the Bay. But I think we're probably right now, our goal is to get that 9th win and finish the season strong. Until then, man, before y'all leave, please hit the like button for me and share the video. Let everybody know where we are. We're Uncle Steve's Lounge. We're going to go into next year stronger than ever. Hopefully everybody has a great time this week. We will talk to you on the other side on 2025. For now, this is your Uncle Steve. Appreciate you. Thanks for joining me. Peace.
You're in Uncle Steve's Lounge. You're in Uncle Steve's Lounge. Gonna sit down, have a good time. You're in Uncle Steve's Lounge. You're in Uncle Steve's